Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily presented by EA Sports FIFA 12. It's Wednesday, September 28th, here with Greg Lawless. I'm Nick Fershaw. Greg, let's start with the CONCACAF Champions League. A big night for the Seattle Sounders out in Group D on Tuesday. A 2-2 draw against Comunicaciones. They'll take the point, the Sounders on their way to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and you know how they did this? Osvaldo Alonso. 2 goals for the midfielder. He's not exactly known as a goal scorer, but this was his type of game. It was pouring rain down on the turf. The ball was slicking all over. It wasn't very pretty, and he came up huge, including a 90th minute equalizer that put the Sounders into the knockout stage. What a turnaround considering the struggles they had last year in CONCACAF Champions League.
Absolutely, a big turnaround. They were knocked out so early last season. They're on their way to the quarterfinals. Another team potentially on their way, that's Toronto FC, Greg. We thought maybe they were dead in the water earlier in this tournament. They're very much alive in Group C. They get a valuable point against Pumas, the vaunted Mexican side. How'd they do it?
Well, you know, this was a makeshift lineup for Aaron Winter here. He was missing several players, including Torsten Frings and Eric Avila. Didn't matter. Peri Mirosevic getting a goal in the first half, and then the defense held strong. Milos Kocic had a good game in goal. That was important. But really, the back line just was strong all night, facing the pressure from Pumas. They gave up the equalizer in the 51st minute to Palacios. But to get that result, considering they lost 4-0 down in Mexico City, to turn it around like this, get the draw, they're now level on points with FC Dallas in Group C, just 1 point behind Pumas with 1 match to play for both teams.
And you mentioned it, missing guys like Torsten Frings and Danny Kovermans. A big result for Toronto FC. There's action left to be played on Wednesday night in Group C. That's FC Dallas down at Taudo. Obviously, this is going to have big implications on the standing. Schellas Heineman's team, Greg, hasn't played that well of late in league or in CCL. How are they going to get this done?
Well, I think right away they just need to shore it up defensively. That's going to be the key. You're going away from home. You just need to kill the game quickly and then allow your guys to go on the counterattack. This is a Dallas team that I think has shown, obviously, throughout the season, they have the ability to do that. You think about Daniel Hernandez, Hugo Hamalu, guys like this. They can get this job done down in Taro. And if they get those 3 points, they shoot to the top of Group C with just that 1 game left at home against Toronto. That would be a great chance for them to just push. All they would need is a draw to get into the quarterfinals.
Again, that game tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox Soccer. There's some other action as well, and a big one out in Group A. The LA Galaxy at home against Morelia, and a big one for the Galaxy considering, surprisingly, they're nowhere near first place. They need points now.
Yeah, they're in 3rd place right now, 3 points off the pace set by Morelia and Alajuelense, the team that beat the Galaxy last time out. But I think that the Galaxy will have the last game against Morelia in their mind. They go down to Mexico, they're tied 1-1, and then they had that goal that was called off on an offside. Bruce Arena coming out today, actually, really going after the officiating in the CONCACAF Champions League, calling it, quote, bad, which is an interesting tactic ahead of a game when you really need to get a win in this one. But they have the experience. Obviously, these are guys that know how to step up in a game that matters most, and they have that motivation from that draw down in Mexico.
Again, that game, 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Soccer. There's one other one we wanted to mention in CONCACAF Champions League tonight. That's in Group B. The Colorado Rapids, they're really up against it in this one, Greg. They're down on the road at Isidro Metapan. They're trying to get some points. That game will be tape delayed on Fox Soccer, 12:30 a.m., or you can log on to CONCACAF.com and find the live stream. There's also some big-time games on the MLS docket, a big one for the Eastern Conference. Sporting Kansas City at home against the Columbus Crew. Greg, these teams both at 41 points, 1 point off the pace of the Houston Dynamo. Who has the edge?
Well, 3 points and you're in first place. Here's the motivation. You have to say, though, that Kansas City have the edge playing at home. Columbus, not really looking great as of late, so you think Kansas City should be able to come out there, go at them with an attacking style right away. I think that you can take advantage of that back line for Columbus. They can leak goals, especially on the road. So I think if they go after them, that's the way to do it. From Columbus's side, I think it's a sit back and try and counterattack a little bit when you're on the road.
Again, that game, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Match Day Live. And one last game we want to mention, it's a good one, Real Salt Lake at home against the Chicago Fire, 9 p.m. Eastern on Match Day Live. And Greg, for Real Salt Lake, they're back at home after that big loss to DC United over the weekend and still chasing the LA Galaxy in the Shield race. What do we expect from this one?
Well, you know what? They're coming up against a Chicago team that has some momentum so far in the last couple of months since they've made some changes in the middle of the season. And Chicago want to keep up a little bit of form as they're heading into next week's U.S. Open Cup. This is not going to be an easy game for Real Salt Lake, but if Salt Lake can't come back from that drubbing they took to DC United. If they're not motivated, if Jason Christ can't go into that locker room and show replays and highlights of that game to motivate his team, then they've got some real problems. I think, though, Salt Lake, obviously veterans, they know how to play the game at home. They know how to move the ball around against a team like Chicago. They have the players in back, the smart defenders like Borges, Olave, who can deal with speedy attackers like Goduro. That's the key. They may not be the fastest guys themselves, but they can deal with speed. So I think that Real Salt Lake can pull this one out.
For the Chicago Fire, you mentioned it. They're 6 points off the pace in that postseason push. They really need to get the wins now. We say it's a must-win for all these teams. This is definitely a must-win for the Chicago Fire. That does it for us. For all the latest updates on the playoff standings and all the news in MLS, log on to MLSsoccer.com.